We are back with another episode, and today Zoe and I are going to be talking about all things food and how sometimes it can feel like it's your worst enemy when in actual fact it is your best friend. My name is Donaé, and this is
Zoe. Oh, that's always so weird.
I know. Well, welcome to Giggles and Glutes.
So you've done all the things. You've planned all your meals down to the last calorie. You've cut out every bad food. You've meal prepped every Sunday like your personal trainer told you to. So much chicken and broccoli, you can't stand the sight of it anymore. Not that I give my clients chicken and broccoli. You've done everything you're supposed to. So why do you feel like a coiled spring ready to snap at more than just the thought of a cookie?
And why do we have this guilt around office parties where they start to feel less of a celebration and more of a personal battlefield? You know, when somebody brings cake to work, you're just like, there goes my diet. And I think that for years we have thought that we just have no willpower. We thought that we were the problem, that it was us. And we figured that if we could just be more disciplined, be more perfect, we would finally find the health and the peace that we were so desperate for.
Yeah, but eventually we learned the hard way, sadly, is that the healthy eating rules we were following so religiously weren't a path to freedom. They were the bars of psychological prison.
Yes, and it also comes with like constant anxiety and the guilt, the out of control feeling around food that wasn't a sign that you were failing. It was the predictable result of a system designed to fail you.
Yeah.
And this is not your fault in theory, if we think about it. And in this video, we are going to expose the lie that has been holding you captive.
And more importantly, we're going to hand you the key to unlock the door.
So the first thing is unmasking the lie. And the lie is simple. It's seductive and it's everywhere. I know this sounds like it's something sexy, but it's a lie. Remember that it's a lie. It's on magazine covers. It's all over our social media feed. And it's probably whispering to you in your mind right now. And that is the idea that food is a moral issue. And that there are good foods and there are bad foods. There are clean foods and there are dirty foods. There are angelic foods and then there are sinful foods.
Yeah. And if you want to be a good, healthy, worthy person, you have to eat exclusively from the good list and banish everything else. This is the rotten core of what we call diet culture, toxic diet culture. And we don't stand for that.
100%. And unfortunately, diet culture is the belief system that worships the thinners and equates it to health and a moral virtue. And it takes food, something that should be about nourishment, about connection and joy. And it turns it into a source of profound anxiety and shame, actually. And it convinces us that the number on the scale is a direct reflection of our character.
Yeah, but here's the truth. Diet culture doesn't want you to know that food doesn't have a moral compass. This good versus bad framework isn't based in science. It's a marketing tactic. It's a slice of cake isn't inherently bad. It's just flour, eggs, and some fat. And then a salad isn't inherently good. It's just lettuce, vegetables, and dressing.
Now, this isn't to say that a donut and a bowl of broccoli do the same thing to your body, because they absolutely do not. Don't get us wrong. And of course they don't. So their impact on your physical health is all about context. Context is so important, and how often, how much, and what the rest of your diet looks like. But the impact on your mental health, since you slap those moral labels on them, that is what is actually devastating.
Yeah. And as soon as you start to believe you were bad for eating a cookie, or for having a drink or whatever you enjoy, you ignite a downward spiral of guilt and shame. And that shame doesn't inspire you to make you better and to want to make better choices for tomorrow. And for this reason alone, you should consider viewing food differently. Because why do you want to put yourself in that state where you constantly feeling guilty for wanting to enjoy something? And this doesn't mean that you're enjoying that thing every day and twice a day or three times a day.
Yeah.
Everything in moderation. But there is no such thing as a good food or bad food. I just don't believe in that.
Yeah. And also, when you aspire to make better choices, it doesn't always need to be the exact opposite thing. It triggers what researchers call what the hell effect. So if you think about scuffing a brand new pair of white shoes, your first thought isn't to gently clean the tiny mark. It's, well, they're ruined now because it's white shoes. If there's one mark on it, it's over. And it goes for white anything, pants, shirt, anything. So if you stop caring if you step into a puddle, you've already broken your perfect rule. Because what does it matter if I step into a puddle with white shoes? It doesn't matter. So what the hell, basically? So you might as well keep walking, right? And continue to dirty the shoes because that's what you've already done.
Yes, and this exact feeling is how we get to binging, where you just go off and you eat large amounts of foods, of the forbidden foods, all the foods that you've placed into the forbidden category in a frantic way, almost like having an out-of-body experience when doing this, not really being aware. And then what comes after that? Shame, more guilt, and a desperate vow to yourself to be good again tomorrow, which just means more restrictions, and then that continues the cycle. And see where we're going with this?
Yeah, exactly. This is where the cycle can become extremely painful and also exhausting because you are constantly fighting with yourself about the food you are eating. You restrict, you crave, you binge, you shame, and then you repeat. And that's the cycle that a lot of people go through. And it's basically a roller coaster that you feel you need to be in control of. But in reality, it's actually controlling you. So the promise of clean eating is order, but the reality delivers chaos.
I know this chaos intimately because I loved it. My journey into this prison didn't start with wanting to be thin. It started, ironically, with a genuine desire to be healthy. And I read an article about inflammation and the power of food to heal the body and the gut. And I really based my vision or training value on a lot of how you treat your gut is ultimately how you're going to feel. Because gut health is so important with your weight loss, with everything basically, especially with inflammation in the body. And food will heal you. If you do the right thing and you put the right thing into your body, food is going to reward you.
Yeah, 100%. And just going back to what you were saying about you were in this prison as well. And honestly, sometimes that's how it gets the better of us, really. It starts in a good place and the simple desire to just feel better. But then you fall into this roller coaster.
Yeah, and it's so intoxicating. I felt like I'd found a secret code for ultimate wellness. And I decided to cut out processed sugars. And 99% of the time, that is where you should start. Because if you can do that, amazing stuff. You'd make huge leaps forward if you can cut out sugar. And at first, it felt incredible. I was so disciplined, so in control. I got a little joy out of righteousness every time I said no to desserts.
And people also often compliment your willpower when you're in a company and you're at that birthday party and you're like, no, thank you. People will compliment your willpower, which also makes you feel good. And it feels like you're actually winning the game, like you're not struggling your way through.
Yeah. So naturally, what do? You tighten the screws. If cutting out sugar was good, then cutting out more must be better. So soon, my list of forbidden foods became like a sacred text. that governed my life. No dairy, no white potatoes, only sweet, no white rice, only quinoa, no cooking with this oil, only that oil, no eating after 7. All of those rules we put in place for ourselves that nobody said you must do. You're just deciding all those things on your own, stressing yourself out every day for all of these things that do not matter in the greater scheme of things.
Yeah. And all of the mental energy that could have gone into your career, your relationships, or your hobbies was instead spent on constant running calculations of what you should and shouldn't eat, what you could and couldn't eat, actually. And a trip to the grocery shop just became a 2-hour situation where you were just basically reading labels and trying to see how many calories are in here. Da, da, da. Do you know how long it takes in the shop to do that? Imagine you have to read the label of everything. Like, wow, wild.
I don't do that for everything, but I do that sometimes, especially since moving to Germany. I have to do that because I have to check what the hell is in the products, like in South Africa, I wouldn't do that because I don't know, I just had this blind trust for
But this is the thing, with putting it into context. I think that if you buying the same thing week in, week out, or maybe you want to change something, then by all means you look at the label. This is something new on the market and you're interested to see what it is. Look at the label. Kellogg's made a new porridge. Look at the label or whatever. But if you're obsessively looking at a packet of vegetables, you're going to go look at the calorie count on this broccoli versus this broccoli. I feel like that is a bit like, come on, man, it's broccoli. You don't need to be comparing this healthy food to this healthy food. And some people do that and it's out by 100 calories or something, and then they will take this one. But imagine you have to do that for everything,
Yeah, exactly, genau. And then after that comes the social isolation where you think, oh, I'm rather not going to go. I'm going to stay at home. And your world just starts to shrink. Friends invite you for spontaneous pizza night that would usually send you into pure joy, but now it's sending you into panic states and you just don't go because you'd have to interrogate the menu. You have to call the restaurant. You have to ask about their cooking oil or which pasta they are using or whatever. So you just end up making an excuse and then staying at home. And so many people do that. They become afraid of eating, actually.
Yeah, they do. And it's extremely isolating. Food is something that brings people together. It's always used to connect people. So if you are adjusting your entire lifestyle to, I'm not drinking anything or eating anything that is not made in my kitchen and these groceries were not bought by me, then you are 100% isolating yourself and taking the connection that food gives us away. Diet culture can turn into a weapon of separation almost, because you become so antisocial that you actually don't want to go out and do things when it's actually incredibly sad.
Yeah, true. And then you start missing out on birthday parties or families and friends, or you go to Christmas dinners or New Year Eve parties and grandma has made the best food ever. And you see your aunt's favorite lasagna, like my aunt's favorite lasagna. I'm always asking her, are you making lasagna for Christmas?
My auntie, it's a prawn curry, the best prawn curry. So good.
And all you can then see is like a minefield of bad ingredients, and you end up eating sad dry turkey and steamed green beans on a day of celebration that you brought for yourself from home in a Tupperware that's yellow and should be chucked already. Feeling completely cut off from the joy around the special day or special holiday, and it's just not worth it.
Yeah, it really isn't. And do you know, it's funny because when I arrived back in Cape Town, I stayed with my parents for a week, and colored people cook. And for this week, I actually just said to myself, it's fine. My dad made mealie meal porridge and we have it with butter.
I saw that
and
you had butter
sugar.
in. Oh my gosh, I
Oh my
saw
God,
that. I was
the
like,
best.
oh, I have tasty wheat here. I have tasty wheat here. My mom brought me some
Yeah.
tasty wheat when she was here the
Yum.
last time. And then I saw that and I was like, next weekend, I'm definitely
You're
making
gonna
some
make
tasty
it.
wheat. Yes.
And this is the thing, these foods, because a lot of the time, I don't know, I speak for myself when I say this. I did not grow up in a house where we ate healthy foods. It wasn't unhealthy foods, but it wasn't considered
Yeah.
healthy. My
It
mom
was like
made
stews and
stews.
stuff. Us as
Yes.
well.
We
Yeah.
had rice with everything. We had potatoes with
Hmm.
everything. We had lots of
Hmm.
curries. We had
Hmm.
rotis and fish curry and all these things
Hmm.
that are not considered very healthy in today's society. So when I
Hmm.
was old enough to make a decision about the food that I want to put into my body, I did not learn as a result how to cook like my family cooks. And it breaks my
Yeah.
heart today that I
Same.
can't make a stew like my mom can make
Same.
a stew, but I can whip up a mean chicken and veg.
Yeah.
you know but it's the things like this, and also why I said earlier that food connects us, because it really does. It can bring back some feeling of nostalgia when you eat
Yes.
that thing that your granny's made again, or your mom or your auntie or your brother or sister, or even you as well, that you make this thing that reminds you of your childhood or when you were living
Yeah.
with your parents. And so obviously for the most part we eat well when we can, but when we are with family and friends, allow yourself to enjoy this thing that you haven't had in
Yes.
years, because it's not like you're going to go home and make it, because if you're like me, I don't know how to make the damn stew, so I'm not going
Yeah.
to make the stew. Do you
And
know
I
what I
know it's not
mean?
going to taste the
It's not going to,
same.
exactly. So why would you beat yourself up about it?
Yeah. My
Yeah,
mom's
and then there's
coming
also
next
that,
week.
oh, sure, the food is going to be so
And
good.
oh my gosh. And it's like, your mom has to make a tomato stew for us. I was like, tomato bready. It's like, yeah, yeah. She has to make us tomato bready. So funny, this topic that we're talking about. Someone literally just messaged me saying, all I wish for is a fried egg sandwich or cheese, lettuce, and cucumber sandwich. And this is literally what we are talking about today. And so funny how things work. We were talking about food earlier, and he was saying bad carbs to me. He literally put it in quotation marks. That he's cut all of that out and stuff. And we were just talking about his journey and his process at the moment. And literally now he's saying he's restricted himself so much that he's just craving for a sandwich with a fried egg and some lettuce and cucumber. And that ain't even bad.
It's not even bad. It's not bad. But because it's a sandwich which contains bread, everything else that goes on it is automatically labeled as bad.
Yes, because he told me cut bread out. So I was just like, I don't get it. I said to him, I don't get it.
I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Anyway, and just like that, the food police is there. That voice is brutal. It narrates everything. That banana has too much sugar. You shouldn't eat that. You're so weak for wanting that bread. Look at her eating pasta without a care in the world. What is wrong with her? My world split into two camps. People like me who were enlightened and an unbelievably arrogant and lonely way to exist. And I don't wish that for anybody, because it's just so not worth it.
It's not worth it. And your anxiety can literally become your shadow. You don't just worry about what you are eating, you worry about what you might eat also. If I eat this thing, what am I going to eat next? And the fear of making that constant mistake. And when you inevitably slip up, because who can possibly live like that, the shame is completely crushing. And you are most of the time your biggest critique when it comes to that. Yeah. And this is basically where the binge restrict cycle comes into its full glory. It's where biology kicks in, where that coiled spring, like we mentioned, finally snaps then.
Exactly. Your brain is wired for survival. I say this all the time. When you severely restrict food, your primitive brain doesn't know you're on a clean eating diet, It just thinks you're in a famine. It's like, where is my food? woman, it thinks that you're starving. So your body's internal fire alarm, at first, it's a quiet beep, 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 beep. But the longer you ignore it and the longer you go on with this process, the louder it gets until it's a deafening siren you just cannot ignore. So it screams at you to eat, to get the sugar, to get the fat, to get the carbs, because it's desperately trying to save your life. It's like anything that is going to be in front of your eyes right now, eat that please, because I need to live. So
Yeah.
it doesn't take into account whether that thing is going to be healthy or unhealthy.
Yeah. And your willpower, no matter how strong you think it is, it stands zero chance against millions of years of evolution. So when you finally give in, it's not a moral failing, it's a biological imperative. You are not weak, your body is actually smart, and the binge isn't the problem. The restriction comes before the problem actually comes.
So now we're going to tell you how you're going to break free from years of diet culture. And it doesn't happen overnight. It takes patience and a whole lot of self-compassion, but you can start right now. We want you to walk through the very steps. Think of these not as new rules, but as tools to help you tear down the old ones.
Yeah. So going into our steps for step 1, curate your environment. First thing is first. It's time for you to digital detox. Do a digital detox. Go through your social media feeds and unfollow anything that makes you feel bad about your body or your food choices. If you are feeling like your phone and your Instagram or TikTok is personally attacking you, unfollow, because guess what? You are in control of what is on your device. Mute the influencers who's posting about restrictive diets and what I eat in a day videos if that makes you feel bad. Unsubscribe from the people who are talking about the clean foods and the cheat days, and create a safe space for your mental space, which is most important, and also for yourself. And one that isn't constantly screaming and lying at you, and instead follow an anti-diet registered dietitian, a therapist, or a diverse body positive creator or influencer. And if you change your input, you will change your thoughts, because we are not only what we eat, we are also what we watch, what we read, and we digest everything around us on a daily basis. So
yeah, 100%. And the food police is that critical voice in your head, the one that judges your every bite. The first step is to just notice it. Just recognize when it's happening. It's like having a heckler in the audience of your own life. You know, the comedians are like going off on a tangent and then there's someone screaming out. It's the audience. That is the food police in your head. Simply just try to start noticing the voice and create separation from it.
Yeah.
You are not the heckler. You are the one on the stage. Try to
I
remember
love
that
that.
this little voice in your head, it's just the heckler.
Yes, I love that so much. And the next step is to talk back to it with logic and compassion. So when the voice says to you, bread is bad for you, you can answer and say, no, bread is not bad. It's a source of energy, and my body can use that energy. It's delicious and I am allowed to enjoy it. And when the voice says that you will gain weight if you eat that pasta, you can fire back and say, my worth is not measured in kilograms or pounds. Restricting this pasta will just make me want it more and likely lead me to a binge later. So I'm going to honor my craving and enjoy this meal. And it's going to feel strange at first, to be honest, but you can literally rewrite your brain's programming when you actively speak back to yourself with logic and compassion. You are replacing the voice of an oppressor to the voice of an ally, which is something that is so, so important. And just on that, I am not saying to justify every bad thing that you eat, because that's not what we are saying here. We are saying that if you are a person who generally eats well, you are a person who is active, and you feel bad about that one meal, like your pasta or your bread, then have this conversation with yourself, but don't go justify having McDonald's every day, because Zoe and I are not going to stand behind you and support you on that, okay?
Yeah.
Just PCA. Thank you.
And this is often the scariest step, but it's the most critical. And it's time to give yourself that unconditional permission that we've talked about to pick one forbidden, let's say it's chocolate. Go buy the kind you actually love, not some healthy version or some protein bar. Plan a time to eat it and then sit down, eat it mindfully and focus on the taste and the texture. Does it have nuts? Focus on all the things that you're experiencing or thinking about when you are consuming this forbidden food. The guilt will probably show up because of years or months or weeks of programming, and that's okay. Your job is only to notice the guilt and to eat the chocolate anyway. You are teaching your brain that you are safe. Do it again the next day and the next. Keep that chocolate in your house until it becomes boring. And that is the goal. For the thing to no longer freak you out and be like, I can't keep it in the house, because then you're never going to learn to have a better relationship with it. And that is the point of all of this.
Yeah. And then step 4 is debunking the myths with actual science. So part of taking down the lie is arming yourself with the truth. I'm going to say that again. Part of taking down the lie is arming yourself with the truth. Let that sink in. So diet culture is built on a foundation of pseudoscience. That white potatoes that you've been avoiding, it's actually a fantastic source of potassium as well as vitamin C. Eat the skin and you'll get a greater dose of fiber as well, which is what we want because fiber is our friend. And what about the egg yolks? People are always saying bad things about egg yolks. And for decades, we were told that they give us a heart attack and your cholesterol. And for most people, dietary cholesterol has very impact on their blood cholesterol, and egg yolks are a nutritional powerhouse, actually.
Yeah, very, very little impact. And don't get us started on some of those so-called healthy foods. That's granola, you're piling on your yogurt. Many brands have more sugar per serving than a donut.
That's nuts.
And those gluten-free snacks, gluten-free doesn't automatically mean healthy, guys. And low-fat yogurt, to make it taste good after removing the fat, companies often just pump it full of sugar. So the point isn't to create a new list of good and bad foods. The point is to see that those labels are virtually meaningless without context.
100%.
And also, a non-alcoholic beer has more alcohol in it than a banana. So context, everything has context.
Yeah.
You can still eat bananas when you're pregnant, but you can't be drinking beers.
Yeah.
But banana has more alcohol than a non-alcoholic beer. So,
context. And then step 5 is to reconnect with your body's signals. This one is very important because for years you've been listening to all the external rules, but now it is finally time to turn back to your body's own internal wisdom, because our body speaks to us every single day. So the most important signals are hunger and fullness. So start by simply doing a check-in with yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. How hungry are you? 1 obviously being the least hungry and 10 being the most hungry. And then you start eating around 3 or 4, you're feeling like, okay, I'm at 4 out of 10 or 3 out of 10. And then you stop eating when you feel satisfied around 6 or 7. So we're not going to eat until 10. So we get like moderately hungry, and then we stop when we are moderately full, basically. So eat slowly and try to limit your distractions while you are eating. And then this practice is often called mindful eating, which is something all of us should be doing. And it's how you rebuild that sacred connection with food.
Yes, it's like generating a new language after speaking the wrong one your whole life. If any of this is resonating, if you feel that spark of recognition, do us a favor, pause for a second and just write, I'm ready in the comments below. It's a small step, but it's a declaration to yourself that you're ready for change. So let's create a community of support right here. You are not alone. I've personally been through a binge cycle. I've been through a few. So I 100% know where you're coming from and have experienced all of those feelings as well. So we are definitely here for you if you need some support on this.
Yeah. And remember that the next time you are going out for dinner or you're ordering food or it's someone's birthday, to order something that makes you feel good in the moment. And when you're reading it on the menu, it sounds delicious without giving yourself this feeling of anxiety and fear. And have a slice of cake on your own birthday. Order the most ridiculous cake if this is the only time that you are going to eat cake, and then eat that slice. Have the biggest slice. It's your birthday without even feeling bad about it, because your life deserves to be celebrated, and we do that mostly through food. So build a new relationship with your food and your purpose as well.
Yeah. And I bake on Sundays, and whatever we have left on Mondays, I take all of that to the company because I've already enjoyed the treat that I wanted, like I'm in the mood for cheesecake, I'm going to make it. And then I make it. And I don't allow myself to feel guilty about it anymore. I used to be like, I love baking so much. And then I stopped baking because it was a thing that led me to make the things that I love to eat as well. So I was in that cycle as well. So I just stopped baking, and now I'm like, if I'm in the mood to make the thing that I'm craving or that I'm wanting, I just make it. And then the next day, which is usually the Monday, I take the rest to the office and then I share it amongst everybody in the office. So yeah.
Yeah, that's very sweet.
And this isn't a fantasy. This is what food freedom looks and feels like. This is the life waiting for you on the other side of the lie, where you can guilt-free post to your story the donut that you ate instead of only posting all the healthy things that you ate, because it's unrealistic and you're lying to yourself about it as well.
Yeah, for sure. And to get there, you just have to accept a few profound truths. So, the first idea of good food and bad food. Yeah, food is a myth designed to sell you things, essentially. And it is the root of most of your suffering. And secondly, your body isn't broken. You don't lack willpower. So, if you've been fighting your own biology, a fight you were never meant to win, actually, the rules are what's broken, not you.
Yeah. And third, true health is not just about nutrients or the number on a scale. It's about your mental health as well, your emotional well-being, and your ability to fully show up for your life. You can learn to trust your body again. This journey is about so much more than food. It's about reclaiming your life. It's about rejecting the idea that your worth is conditional. And it's about finally giving yourself the same grace that you so freely give to others.
Yeah. And we want to leave you with this. Your struggle with food is not your fault. You are not a failure. You are a person who has been trying to survive in a toxic system. A peaceful, joyful relationship with food is not only possible, it is quite literally your birthright.
Yeah. Now, quick disclaimer, this advice is for the general population. If you have a specific medical condition like celiac disease or a food allergy, or you absolutely must listen to your doctor's guidance for whatever reason, and for anyone who feels these struggles run deeper than what we've discussed today, please consider seeking help from a registered dietitian who specializes in intuitive eating, or a therapist that works with eating disorders. You don't have to do this alone. You really don't.
Yeah, you really don't. And if this video opened your eyes and you're already continuing on this path, then please subscribe and turn on your notifications, because we are going to be exploring this beautiful journey right alongside of you.
And more importantly, share this with someone you think needs to hear this message. You never know whose life you might change. Thank you for being here, and thanks for listening.
And please remember to be kind to yourself, because you deserve it. Bye.
Bye.